It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, what's happening, guys? It is Wednesday, March 18th, 2020, which means we've only got 288 days left in 2020, and I would just remind you all during these interesting times that we are living in to not allow those days to pass you by. It is a really important thing to make sure that we are making the most of our days regardless of the circumstances, right? And, it's easy to let that happen these days. It's easy to get caught up in the hysteria. It's easy to lose 30 minutes or a few hours or, even days, not making progress as a result of, just getting distracted, just, putting your attention in the wrong place. We're going to talk a little bit about that this morning, actually. But I wanted to just remind you guys, there's a lot going on in the world, and it's easy to get glued into stuff that you're not supposed to be glued into. And so, I just want to make sure that we're, reminding each other of what's really important and, spending our time in the places that are going to benefit us, benefit our families, and continue to push us and the world forward. What's happening, Judd, Chris, Darren Ridenour, Brian Veith? What's happening, man? Good morning, guys. Thank you for jumping on here. So I think this is going to be a beneficial topic for you guys this morning. Why you need structure in your life, in your days, now more than ever before, right? When you talk about structure, and, I talk about morning routine, I talk about the structure that I use, fairly frequently. But I want to talk specifically about just the concept and idea of structuring your life and what it will do for you, especially during these times. The critical importance of structure will change everything about your days. It'll change everything about the way that you function. All we have in this world, guys, is time. That's the truth. We have nothing else. It is actually the thing that we have the least of, but most people treat it as if it's an unlimited resource. And what I'm here to talk to you about this morning hopefully will change that. It'll change the way that you look at it. So if you look at, a 24-hour period from the time that you wake up in the morning till the time that you go to sleep, including your sleep, what does that look like? Is it the most effective that you can possibly make it? And I want to talk to you about how structure will change the way that you function. It'll change the level that you are able to function at and how it will do that. So creating structure in your life, it does a couple of things for you. And it's really important to have these things going on. So I hope you guys, if you can't take notes right now, maybe you can come back and listen to this again. Obviously, it'll be available on the podcast platforms and all that stuff. What's happening, Larry? Mike Rosgoni, good morning. My wife's on here. Good morning, babe. So creating structure in your life does a couple of things. Number one, it creates rhythm in your life. It creates rhythm in your life. And what rhythm does in your life, it creates an environment that will create less stress. Who watching this right now could use a little less stress in their life? I think everybody, right? Creates less stress and produces more times of bliss, more times of those rhythm, those periods of rhythm where you feel like you got everything figured out, right? Everything's just clicking. Number two, it allows you to function in a peak state more often and produce better and more consistent results. When I say peak state, have you ever been in that place in business, in life, in sports, where you're in the zone, right? You're in the zone. Everything you do is going well. You watch an athlete and you say to yourself, man, that guy can't miss. Or that guy hasn't missed a pass all half. That guy has put every pitch in the right spot. That golfer has nailed every single shot. this round. The reason that happens, guys, is they create this rhythm and they get to this place of being in a peak state. And when you get to that peak state, you produce unbelievable results. I just listened to something the other day that some of this information came from, and it said that when you are in a peak state, you are 1,000 times more productive and effective. 1,000 times. So think about that. When you create structure in your life, and we're going to talk about how to do that here in a minute, that's what you get. And the third thing that I wrote down is it allows you to be more creative, not less. Most people think, and I am one of those people, like I'm not a huge fan of structure. I'm a sales guy by heart. So I like to maneuver things. I like to move around a lot. I like to, not always have like this stringent set of rules because it doesn't work all the time in the environment that I live in. But what I have figured out over the years is that having structure actually allows you to be more creative, not less. And here's how it does that. It puts you in an environment that allows you to be more creative because your mind is at ease. You're in a comfortable place. Have you ever listened to authors that write books and they always go to the same place to write the book? I've heard of lots of authors that go to Hawaii to write a book, and they've got a special place, a special room, a special resort, or a special home that they go to write these books. And the reason for that is they feel that structure. They feel that rhythm. They get to that peak state by putting that structure into their life. So it doesn't make you less creative. It makes you more creative. What's happening, Chad Buck? Good morning, brother. Thanks for jumping on, man. I agree. Good morning, hardworking people. There's always hardworking people watching this show. So if you watch professional athletes before games, you'll see what their routines or structure look like, right? It's always the same, isn't it? The number of free throws that they take, the way that they stretch, how many warm-up pitches they take, how many balls they catch and exactly how they catch them, and which drills they run. It's always the same routine. So let's talk about routine for a minute and what that looks like. So I have walked you guys through my morning routine quite a bit, but I'm going to do that right now. But I also want to tell you something that I just recently learned that I have not had in my life that I am going to implement into my life immediately, like starting today. So what I read and listened to a couple of days ago from Ed Mylett talked about not just a morning routine and having that rhythm, which I'm pretty good at. I've got a morning routine that's down pat. Like if I'm off my routine in the morning, it's not a good thing for my day. But he also implemented an evening routine, and I want to talk to you guys about that because I think that it's going to be incredibly effective and really change everything about the way that I function, and hopefully it'll do the same for you. So my morning routine is really pretty simple, but it's lengthy. It probably takes an hour, give or take, to get myself in that rhythm. So my morning routine is wake up, turn to the side of my bed, literally put my head in my hands and think about the things that I'm grateful for. And, those are a variety of things. It's whatever comes to my mind that morning. Good morning, Ryan, Kim, Rob. What's happening, guys? I think about everything that I'm grateful for, and then I get up and I go about my routine. So I get a shower, I get ready, I brush my teeth, all that kind of stuff. I come downstairs, and I literally sit right here where you guys are looking. Actually, I make my Opti Greens, Opti Reds. I have a drink that I make in orange juice, shake it up, chug that down. It's a healthy drink first thing in the morning, gets me moving. I grab a bottle of water, and I sit down at my desk, and I start to organize my day. And that starts with the planner that I use. I've showed you guys this before, but I'll show it to you again. It's got my daily routine on one side. Hopefully you guys can see this. My daily routine on one side. The other side is my to-do list and the times of the day so that I can get myself organized. So I sit here and I go through that entire thing. And then I consume audiobook or I read a book, one of the two. And I listen to something motivational and educational. And that is, and then I read scripture. And that is my morning routine. That's how I create the rhythm. And I get all of that done before, say, 7:15 when I start to prepare to get on here and talk to you guys every single morning. But that is my routine. That's what I go through every single morning. And I am working on implementing some way that I can fit in physical activity in the morning all the time so that I just get it out of the way. Because what happens is I've been trying to do that later in the day and it doesn't work because a million things come at me. I'm on defense after I get through the rest of my routine. So I'm trying to change that. Thank you for sharing this out, Robert. If you guys find this to be beneficial, I would appreciate it if you guys would share it to your pages so more people could find this. I think especially in the times that we're in right now, plenty of people could use some positive messages and positive information. So if you guys could share it out, I would be super grateful. So that is my morning routine, and then I go about my day, right? I do this show. I start to knock off my to-do list. I prioritize that. I do my follow-ups typically first thing in the morning to get that rhythm out of the way, to start knocking stuff off my list. I start to try and knock the little things off my list so that I can create that rhythm, create the momentum, right? And that's what it is. Creating a morning routine will create momentum in your life. What's happening, David Doyle? Good morning, George. David Doyle, man, I'm going to send you one of these planners. I have a feeling you might need one, man. Might do you some good, brother. David Doyle worked for me a while back, and he's a great guy. He could use a planner, I could tell you that. I'm sure he probably still uses one that I gave him from way back then. That's how many pages he's got filled out, but love you, man. But at any rate, so that's my morning routine. Now I want to tell you about what Ed Mylett said about his evening routine. So he has an evening routine where he journals, he writes some things down about how the day went, what his thoughts were. That helps him. He said it helps him be able to process some of the things that he has told himself throughout the day. Maybe he's told himself some dramatic things that when he writes them down, they just seem so silly, right? And that helps him kind of process his day and just kind of, unpack everything that happened that day. Then he takes some sort of a warm shower or gets in a sauna or does something that kind of warms his body up right before he goes to bed. And then he prays and then he goes to sleep. And for me, I'm going to work on implementing that evening routine because I feel like I do a great job in the morning of creating that rhythm in my life, creating momentum. We've got a structured day at the Pavement Group that we kind of get into a rhythm as a team where we all jump on a call and we kind of connect first thing in the morning, and that starts our day. We all take turns kind of talking about what we've got going on. So it's rhythm, it's routine, it's structure. And that helps us be able to function at a high level. It helps us be able to know what's going on within our company. It helps me be able to manage a variety of different things at one time by having that structure. I've always got that rhythm in my life. And when I don't have it, when the morning doesn't go well and I'm off my routine, everybody that's in my life, my wife, my kids, the people I work with, the people I interact with, the people that I coach, they all can probably tell when I am off my routine because it's that much different. The way that my life goes, the way that my days go, when I don't have that, really makes a huge difference. I want to share one more thing with you guys this morning on, just how you're functioning today. Obviously, physical activity is a major piece of what we all need, and it's the thing that most people miss the most, including me. So in full transparency, I struggle because I've got so much going on, at least that's what I tell myself, that I struggle to fit in that 30, 45 minutes, an hour to get outside, to get on my Peloton, to do something that has physical activity. So what I've tried to do recently is I've tried to invest into things that help me do that. So my most recent investment is in this thing that you see on my wrist. It is called the Whoop Band, WHOOP. What this Whoop Band does is a couple of things. It tracks all of my activity throughout the day, but it also tracks my recovery and my sleep patterns. And what that does is it keeps me accountable to myself, right? So I can see how much activity I've had, and I can see how much I need to recover. So, AKA sleep. I need to do different things that help my recovery score. So this thing calculates all kinds of different things. And so I would tell you to be mindful and try to track that stuff, because what I have learned by having this band here for a few weeks is that my sleep is really bad. Like, I don't get enough of it, and I don't ever pay attention to that. And so this band actually tells me, yes, you got enough sleep. No, you didn't. Here's how short you were. And it'll actually tell me how I'm going to feel that day. And it is pretty much dead on the money. Like, when I start to feel, a little behind, a little bit off, this band tells me why. And so I would encourage you guys to look into something like that. Maybe you have an Apple Watch, maybe you have a Fitbit, anything like that. But just start to look at these things of what you're actually doing, what the structure of your day looks like, and how you can get more out of every single day. Because let me tell you something, guys, during these times where everything is a little uncertain, everything in business is a little bit off because of everything that we've got going on in the world, there is nothing more important in your life than having structure. And if you are in leadership, there is nothing more important for your people to see than to see somebody who's got it together, at least on the surface. You might feel like you're falling apart inside, but on the surface, you got it all together. You got a structure. You're creating rhythm for yourself, for your team, for the people around you, and everybody will become a magnet to people like that, won't they? They'll become a magnet to those people that make them feel better in times of uncertainty. That goes for customers. That goes for people around you, people that want to work for you. People that are on your team already, your family, your friends. Everybody wants to be around those people that seem to have it all together. I promise you this, guys. The people that seem to have it all together, the reason that they have it all together is because they practice structure and they have a high level of discipline. That's all it is. In the last few years, I have studied discipline more than I've studied anything else in my life, and it is a work in progress. Nobody ever gets it figured out. We all just get better and better and better. I know the areas of my life that I have improved significantly, and I know the areas of my life that I still have work to do. And so I would tell you guys to do that for yourself. Look at what your days look like. Look at the structure that you've got in place. The other things that I wrote down are evaluate the structure in every aspect of your life. So my structure from a professional aspect is great. My structure, our structure, my wife and I's structure as a family could use a little tuning as far as the rhythm, the timing, when we eat, when we sit down as a family, all of these things matter. So what is the structure in your life? What is the structure in your business life, in your personal life, in your spiritual life, in your physical fitness? What is the structure that you have in your life? And evaluate all of those aspects, and you will absolutely be on your way to living a much better, much more productive, and much more fulfilled life that is full of less stress and more bliss. I hope this was helpful for you guys this morning. It is, a lot of these things that I talk about on here, guys, are literally, it's me talking to myself as much as it is talking to you guys. It's me reminding myself of what I am trying to work on, what I'm trying to work on, with our team, with myself, with, specific people that I might be coaching. These are things that come up that I know lots of people have challenges with. And so I try to share it on this show. Hopefully it is beneficial to you guys, and in some way, shape, or form, you can take these things and implement them into your life. If you guys have not watched yesterday's episode with Mark Victor Hansen and his wife, Crystal, I would encourage you to please go back and watch that episode. It was incredibly powerful, especially for the times that we're in. If you guys are feeling stressed, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like, man, I'm just uncertain about what's going to happen right now, I think that episode will really, really help you. Mark Victor Hansen is the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. He is launching a new book titled Ask, and that is what I had him on the show to kind of talk about and get him in front of some people for. But it was a powerful show for me. So hopefully you guys can go back and watch it. It is available on YouTube, all the podcast platforms, all of these episodes. I've done a bad job lately of reminding you guys of this, but all of these episodes are available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, every single podcast platform you can think of. This show is on it. So I would encourage you guys to go download that. If you have the time to leave a review, I would be grateful for you to do that. And again, go listen to yesterday's show. It's on my page here on Facebook as well. But it was super powerful. And I want you guys to understand, that guy has sold over 500 million with a B, 500 million books. The author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, he's got a new book coming out, but he's an incredible person. And he is extremely generous with his time, with the connections that he has, with everything. I've only known him for a very short time, but he has impacted my life in a big way. And I think that him and his wife will impact yours as well. It was just an amazing conversation. And I want you guys to go listen to it for a specific reason, is what I was thinking about this morning, is I want you to listen to what they've been through. I asked them the question about some of the tough times in their life. Everybody feels like they're going through a pretty tough time right now. I think that conversation from yesterday will help you guys quite a bit. And I think that Mark Victor Hansen is somebody that you guys should know, and his wife was just unbelievable as well. So I hope you guys will take the time to go watch that episode. It was unbelievable to me to get the opportunity to interview a guy like that. He has sold literally 500 million books. The only book that in history that has outsold him is the Bible, to give you guys an idea. So it is a pretty impressive thing. It was special to me because when I was growing up, I told the story on the podcast. If you guys listened, I'm sorry you have to listen to it again. But when I was young, my grandfather passed away when I was 12 years old. And my grandmother had a really tough time. It was unexpected. He was 63 years old. And when he passed away, my grandmother had a tough time. And that book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, is what helped her through those tough times when she lost my grandfather. And she gave me that book. And when I spent time at her house after he was gone, we spent time reading that book together. And then, 27, 28 years later, I'm on the phone with this guy, and then I'm sitting on my computer sitting here interviewing him. So it's a great reminder, guys, that you never know what happens in your life, and anything is possible. You just have to keep moving, and you got to stay positive, keep meeting new people, keep doing things for people, keep giving, and just keep it positive. And I hope that that's what this show does for you guys. I hope it gives you hope when you need it. I hope it gives you some motivation, whether you need it or not. I hope it gives you inspiration to do something great for somebody else today, because the world absolutely needs it now more than ever. So that's it for this morning, guys. I will see you tomorrow morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. I love you guys.